Hi, welcome to the Stocking It Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as Jane Itma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 80.
Wow.
Last week we said 78 for the second time, as many 78-year-old women do. But in fact, we were wrong, and it was 79, so this week we are 80. We are octogenarian podcasters. Yes. I feel as if commenting on the episode number is kind of like commenting on the weather at this point in our podcast.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the way that we start the show is we talk about the number of our podcast.
10 at 10,
yes,
right?
Yes. Today is May 22nd. I know that because I was trying to get done for a KAL that ended on the 22nd.
Okay.
What's going on with you?
Not much. I mean, lots of retreat stuff.
Yep.
And trying to just go through all my obligation type things, and has to be, I don't know, scrubbing my queue hardcore, like scanning it and like, ooh, which one do I want to cast on next?
Mm-hmm. We have both been very good.
Yeah.
I will say that. Like, I'm casting something on right now because the one project that I had on the needles isn't, safe for airing on air because it's a test knit and it's a secret. So I had to cast on a toe here to get to going, and you were just saying you'd finished a lot of stuff and hadn't cast on as well. So
yep, and then
we're taking the Finish That KAL straight to heart.
Yes, very much so. I saw a crocheter on the bus today.
Ooh.
Or she saw me first, and then she pulled out her crocheting.
It's copacetic now. I can.
Well, she made a comment when she sat down, like, I'm glad I'm not the only one who does that on the bus. And I was like, I do it every day.
Yeah.
So
is that funny? And you haven't ran into her before?
Yeah, it is weird because I wasn't even really taking like a super early or late bus.
Yeah, you'd think that you would,
at
in
some
general,
point,
have shared. Like
maybe she was the off. Maybe she normally takes a really early or late bus.
It's true. It's like the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Maybe I was late for a meeting and that set off her whole day such that it became that she got to ride the bus with you.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything. We have my daughter can now ride her bike without training wheels. That was a pretty big thing.
Big deal.
She had zero desire to do so until my middle child Dexter was like, I want to ride without my training wheels. And then she was like, well, if that punk 4-year-old can do it or wants to try it, I can as well. And she did. She was way ready for it, right? Like she physically understood the or had the coordination, whereas he's really still struggling with it. But he's 4 years old,
right?
So it's been rainy and gross, and I feel like my hair, well, I need to get a haircut, if you haven't noticed on the podcast, but B, it's just like rainy and gross, and my hair just goes, zoom. I have just a little bit of wave to it, and it takes that moisture in the air, and it goes, bazinga.
Our May weather in Minnesota has just been, ugh.
Yeah. And I work with people that have lived in Minnesota, like, I don't know, most of their lives. If not, they're just playing the I'm older than you card. But like, oh, this is fairly typical May weather for Minnesota. I was like, I've lived here since 2001, and I have never had a May like this. Like, we could have like a weird snow like at the first part of May. But I've never had it be this cold where like my heater is kicking on, or that my heat is actually on in June. Or May. See, June is soon. It is almost June.
Very soon.
It is almost June. So.
Forgot what I was doing for a second.
Focus. KALs. We have a self-striping KAL that is year long. And for anybody that is new to the podcast or just hasn't tuned in a while and doesn't know the lowdown on that, you can have, now that it is May, up to 5 entries in that thread, whether or not you finished them in January and now are just getting around to posting it into the thread for your January, easy for me to say. So yeah, you can have 5, whether or not you finished them all in May or you finished them all back in January, and you are just now getting around to posting them. But you can have 5 entries.
Okay.
You can sprinkle them. You can do them all at the same time. Max doesn't want to be next.
Well,
he moved away. He moved away.
Too wiggly.
I was wiggly, wasn't I? I kind of talk with my hips. My hips don't lie. So that's that KAL that is ongoing throughout the year along of the stripies. And we also have the Finish That. I always have to put the dramatic pause in there now. The Finish That KAL, which is basically any KAL that you haven't finished in the past and would now like to wrap up.
Yep.
So, and that's going on in May and June. And my hope is that once July hits, we do like a garment, do the same garment, not yarn, not color, not.
Oh, okay.
I've been hankering to do a garment along, sweater along, whatever along.
Yeah, but one particular one.
Yes, where we're all doing the same pattern, and I've got a question on this part, or how did you modify that sleeve, or so.
Okay.
Yeah. What else? Administrati. I have coupon codes.
Oh, yes.
Coupon codes. Oh, and I wrote it down so I would remember. You may have remembered 2 weeks ago, maybe I showed it as an FO. I talked about my test knitters, but I published my Weather the Weather hat. I did that last week before we podcast, and then I forgot about it on the show. So if you were like, oh, I loved that, and you aren't in my social media blitz when I announced that it was live on Ravelry, that hat is now available. Go out and see the beautiful FO pics by the test knitters, who did a fantastic job and did some really good yarn choices. And that's a free Ravelry download. If you're living in a different hemisphere than us, you might be into knitting hats at this moment.
Now, yeah.
Or if you live in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have 2 discount codes that are kind of, again, so the retreat stuff is going to eke into other portions of the podcast just because it's getting so close. But we've got 2 very generous sponsors of the retreat, and they sent some fabulous door prizes. Sweaters, quantities. Fable Fibers also passed along to you, so a way to play at home, a 10% discount to Zombie, Nipocalypse, and Stockinette Zombies. Folks, the coupon code ZOMBIE for 10% off, and she has some fabulous DK out there in colorways that want to come live with me. They're so fantastic, and I have to keep telling myself, I load up the cart, and then I plug in the discount, and then I go, oh, I need to.
Yeah.
I gotta knit more from Stash. If I say it loud enough, long enough, maybe that'll occur.
Yeah, I have had to tell myself that a lot lately, and so I went down to visit my stash where it lives, and looked at all of the sweaters worth that I have to get through, and went, okay, I mean, I will have to prioritize. I'm kind of doing a yarn priority now rather than the sweater I want to knit next.
So you go by yarn and then pick pattern off of yarn? Cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I mean, I would really love to knit vitamin D, but that yarn isn't like something that I feel like I should work on next. Like, I have a sweater's quantity of one of our retreat vendors, Grinning Gargoyle, and so the next sweater I cast on, I want it to be from her yarn.
Folded.
Yes, it's folded. And then and then I have a little kid garment that I want to cast on, but it's not out of any of the yarn that is vended. So
okay. And then the other generous sponsor, is Storied Yarns, And they sent along the discount code of Zombies10, and again, all of these will be out on the blog in my meticulous show notes with timestamps.
She's still doing them.
Still doing them. Yeah, and she sent, I think my favorite of that huge box of yarny goodness was the Jane colorway with a Jane bag, project bag that matches. I was like, again, I want to. And you said that has almost jumped into your cart several times.
Yes, the bag.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even look at the yarn. It was the bag that kept trying to jump into my cart.
She only has eyes for the Jane bag.
It is really cute.
It is extremely cute. So those are the discount codes. And then I was going to give the heads up that I think next week we will be reviewing the latest Tin Can Knits book. So if you are interested and are on the edge about whether or not to buy it, you can go ahead and buy it, or you can wait for us to review. There's some very cute patterns in that. That's handmade in the UK.
Handmade in the UK. I need to put that thing on my to-do list, and they have generously offered to give away a digital copy, so there will be a thread opening up after the review.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be a quick turnaround thread.
Mm-hmm.
So and just a heads up.
Fantastic. Everything in that book wants to be cast on immediately by me.
Yes. Yes. I love the botany shawl already, and then the lace panel sweater.
Is that Dolly? No, it's something E.
Molly? No. I don't remember, but I want that
Ruddy?
one.
No. Something D. Anyway,
yeah. Miss Murphy has already knit it, so.
Oh, really?
Sarah Murphy, yeah.
Cool. I want to see it.
She was wearing it at Yarn Over if you were watching her. I paid attention, Sarah. She's a slacker.
Did I run into Sarah?
I swear you did.
Okay.
Okay.
Noted.
Okay, noted.
I pay attention to things. They might just not be the same things that you pay attention to, which makes us a good pair. We complement each other with an E. Compliment. So that is Administrati. If we haven't blathered on long enough here for.
Yes. Seems like a long time.
Yep. So you have a fabulous FO that you are wearing.
Yes. I finished my coral.
Mm-hmm. This doesn't seem that long. Mine seems longer than that. Maybe it's just because the Cotland stretches quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this was pretty much on it says to knit 40 centimeters, and I did from the top of this V to the bottom of this V.
Before you unbias it.
Yeah, before you start unbiasing it, yeah. So I did that, and it seemed long enough, and then I knew that I was going to have an edging to do. So, yes, the unbiasing did almost kill me. That was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be.
It's like an applied edging on a shawl.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems like I will never consume all of these stitches. I'm going back and forth and how will I ever... But I really like the color scheme that you've got going, where it starts out lighter up here and then it just slowly goes into dark. That is very cool. You couldn't buy a shirt like commercially made like that. That is you.
Yep.
100% Amy.
Yep. Totally. I did not I didn't plan it out ahead of time or anything, or use one of those random stripers.
She's just a savant. A striping savant.
The thing I like about this one also is that it's straight lines in the back and then the V's in the front. So it's not the same on the back. The back is just straight across and it V's in the front.
On the back, y'all. Ooh, ooh. On the back, y'all. I like it when things are different.
I can do a quick shoulder expose.
Woo!
But it was a bit chilly on the way over here.
That's an understatement.
So yeah, it's laying really nice. I don't have to wear anything special to cover bra straps or anything like that. It's all full coverage. I'm enjoying that.
Mine stretches, and so I get the underarm. I think you commented on that when you last saw me wearing it. You were like, "That's really stretching a lot because you can see." And I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta wear something underneath it."
Yeah,
that's
so
nice
so
that
far
you don't have to.
it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have the dress out of the same yarn, and the Gemini, and I haven't noticed either of them stretching. So
it only gets better, right?
Yep, it really does.
The yarn just gets better and better.
So I highly recommend Empathy for summer garments. Totally. It's a DK weight, so it goes faster. Even though it doesn't look like a DK weight, it's DK weight, and it seems to go really fast.
I can't remember. I think I would have to go back. I have a Empathy. It's the Kristen Van Dyke pattern.
Kristen Van Dyke pattern.
Does that sound right? Anyway, it's a tank like that, but I did it with Empathy, and it was back when I didn't quite understand. Like I wanted all of my knits to be substantial, right? Like the stitches couldn't be loose and flowing.
The drape.
So I think it can stand up on its own. It's like
I have
armor.
one like that.
Yeah, it's armor, because not only was I thrown off like this feels like fingering. They say it's DK. I'm gonna knit it like on a fingering size needle, but I also didn't understand the loose, flowy, drapey knits. Yeah. So. But I'm making your FO all about me, so you go right ahead there, lady.
It's all about you.
No, it's not. Striping Savant.
So my next FO is not staying with me, so I thought I'd give a heads up. This is the Hobbledehoy that was won by Serenity. She's going to be coming to the retreat. And so I'm going to give her a heads up. Let me know if you want it mailed to you or if you want to just pick it up in person. But I have spun some Hobbledehoy.
Woohoo.
So the batlings were very art yarny. I have not spun art yarn. I mean, things that are purposely like nubby and have different sort of fibers in them. This had stuff that hadn't been combed out, looked like it was straight from the sheep and then dyed, very crinkly, wasn't combed. It had like sari silk and then just nubbies, and then it also had like things that looked like the floor of my mom's sewing room that was just a bunch of threads.
Yeah.
And that was thrown in here too.
It's cool.
So it is everything but the kitchen sink art yarn.
That would be interesting to try to spin the kitchen sink.
Yeah. It wouldn't be.
I wouldn't want to spin anything that I found in my kitchen sink.
Nothing like that was in here. It was all lovely, beautiful.
But.
Yeah. It was all lovely and beautiful. So some of it was like merino and some of it was really rough, and so it's everything. It's a hand wash, take care of it sort of yarn, because I have no idea what's in it.
What's your yardage?
84 yards.
Okay.
And I don't know, what'd you say? Bulky, chunky.
To the DK?
Yeah.
Like some of them thinner.
Yeah, they're thinner, but like that's at least a worsted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just the way that. I mean, it may seem that
kind
way,
of
but
like the Empathy.
Anyway, it is thick and thin. It'll be hard to get gauge. I recommend a nice basic cowl, or my other thought was you knit a nice big swatch and you staple it to a canvas and you make art for your wall.
Do you think it would be an okay like weeb?
It'd be a very funky weeb. Maybe a weeb sweater, like make a nice plain weeb and put the sweater on him.
Yeah.
That's what I would do with it. I think it would make a really funky cowl. That would be really cute. Or, like I said, my first thought, and I'm just weird, but I was gonna, thinking, big, size 15 needles and knit up a swatch.
So something that Stephen West would wear.
Probably. On his person. He would wear it on his person. But I was thinking you would stretch it across, a good size canvas. Like a 9x12 canvas, and then get your little staple gun out and then hang it on the wall.
You mean if you're not careful, you might end up making some art for her.
I know, all these ideas.
Yeah.
I do not have time to make art.
Okay.
But
She's
I did
an
think about it.
artiste.
I did think about
That
it.
is a great that is a great idea for anybody out there that has some hand spun that, you know, possibly they can't think of a project to do. You could make yarn related art.
Yeah, I think
for your wall.
Yeah.
Your craft room.
I mean, like back, I want to say back in the day, but a while back, I really wanted to knit some lace circles and then stretch them across canvas, and I never got through the, you know, like, oh, which one to choose, and when you go out, there's so, you know, you have to go into the doilies area to get anything resembling what I was thinking about, and then I just couldn't get my mojo up for knitting something like that. I don't know what it was. It must have been transitional, where I just really, you know, I had my eyes set on something else, and so when I was looking and doing it, I was like, well, I don't want to hang it on my wall, you know, or something. Something got in the way in my brain. But that's it for FOs. Sorry,
Okay,
all
deep
that
breaths.
talk.
No, that's fine. That's what we do here on this podcast. I don't know if you've noticed. We talk. I finished up 2 pairs of socks and my Maris. So
Holy cow.
yes,
You had the finishing.
I was starting to feel like not me.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, who am I impersonating here? I've got 2 pairs of socks on the needles, a garment, and a shawl. Felt like her. Which isn't a bad thing, but again, I'm the me in this equation, and I should embrace that, right? So I can't remember where I was last week. I think I may have finished the gusset and I was working on the top part. But I noticed in the picture when I was wearing them, they didn't look all that matchy, but I must have had that one slouched funny or something, because they are, I mean,
perfect.
when I'm not wearing them, they look pretty perfect. But this is the skip rib, which is very similar to the skip socks. But it's got rib, and it looks very cool. It almost looks like there's some cabling going on, but it's still just that slip knit, yarn over, past slip stitch over. Very cool. I did my heel, which I keep on promising I'm going to write up, and I haven't yet. I'm thinking about calling it the OMG heel, because it's the 1 needle mock or mini gusset. So,
okay.
I mean, you don't only use 1 needle, but you only work the stitches on the 1 needle.
Okay.
So it kind of works. I kind of like that naming. OMG. So that is forthcoming. I'm wearing my, and that's out of Dancing Dog Dye Works. Love the green. Love the gray / purple in certain lights. It's kind of ephemeral. Those are awesome. I'm actually getting use out of all my stocks still in end of May in Minnesota. Have you noticed we're tired of the weather?
We are very tired of the weather. We needed to. I was like, I don't care about spring, summer.
Yeah.
Bring on summer.
We can just skip spring. It's like we wintered through the spring.
We did.
And then I have my socks that are a design that will be part of Yarn vs. Zombies Sock Club in June 15th, and details will be forthcoming. She has some spots that she's going to open up because the sock pattern is going to be exclusive to her and her club for a year. So if you were interested in knitting my most recent sock pattern, I will let you know. Details are, again, like I said, forthcoming, but I finished the actual, and I'm not going to show it, but they're down here where you can see them. The actual sock, this one, that, don't, Amy's like, you guys
It's
can't.
very pretty.
It is very pretty, if I do say so myself. And I've now got 2 of them, and they are very much mishmashed. My prototype one isn't quite as long as my for realsies one, but it's they keep my feet warm, and they are in the same yarn. So unless you are a knitter, you're probably not going to notice that they're any different. Like my children and husband have not yet commented like, "Your socks aren't the same, Mom."
Yeah.
Nor do I ever expect them to. But that's out of Yarn vs. Zombies in the Haunted base in Zombie Unicorn.
Very cool.
Yes, very cool indeed. And then last, my Maris. It's not my Maris. It's somebody else's Maris. Elizabeth Doherty, in fact. And I'm kind of, I love it in the lace garn, but I think it would be fantastic in the weight that the pattern calls, or in the yarn that the pattern calls for, the Finch, Quince & Co.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted it with that. But it blocked out really nicely. We've got the
Way
nice...
to use stash. Way to use stash.
Yes, lace garn. Every lace garn skein that I bought, I justified that it could be a garment, and I made one. I was a little worried about the I-cord edging because of weird experiences with the abalone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, I made sure to make it really loose, but then I was like, oh, but then it's going to roll. And it doesn't. It doesn't roll at all. And I loved Elizabeth's pattern. I can't recommend it enough. I don't know if I've gone through all of this on the podcast, but really intuitive. It just makes sense to me. And the things that she does, it's almost like a lesson, right? Like, I'm doing this because this is the desired effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she gives you that reasoning, and it just makes sense. And it's not overly, it's not like I'm knitting a story.
Mm-hmm.
It's not overly explained, but it's just the right amount. It just makes sense in my head. Like, you're doing this because later you're going to be picking this stitch up, and you're like, makes sense. Or like,
oh yeah, okay.
Or like the eyelets here that are the buttonholes. Like, you can choose your own button adventure. You can have one up top, or you can have one every other two and do like 20 of them just at the top, or you could do all of them, or you can do one every 4, or it's just, it's a great pattern. It's very, in addition to just jiving in my mind, the mind jive, it also, I actually did shaping on this, right?
Yeah.
So like part of the pattern is written, it's not just do 20 rows and then do this. It was like, see where it's going to fall on your bust and then start doing decreases, here, right? So there's a little bit of the fit to flatter in there. I mean, not literally Amy Herzog's fit to flatter, but isn't just a certain number of rows and then you start the increases. It's like, find your natural waistline.
Yep.
Start these things at your natural, or a certain number of inches before your natural waistline. And so I really enjoyed that, and I actually did the shaping, and I think it looks good on me, right? Like, the shaping doesn't look like it's fighting me, or I have a weird bulge in a place that I don't normally. It looks like me. So, all that to say, I love it. I bought some buttons today. Went and saw Ginny. Mm-hmm. And Amy and Ginny helped me. We had a little bit of a quandary because the buttonholes are a little bit smaller than a lot of the buttons at Ginny's, but I don't know if you guys will be able to see that.
It's a dark pearlized button.
Yeah, it's kind of, and it really picks up the pink. Like, it's reflective.
It's got lots of pink in the button itself.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to be able to see it, though.
I'm just going to pretend that you can. Oh, you like it? Me too. Yeah. Yep, I'm a little bit goofy. So I decided to do 5 of them every couple here, and I think it's going to be nice.
Cool.
Yes. And that is my FOs.
Cool.
And it feels good. Let's just say that. Like, the bags still need to have... Do you do that after you get done with a bunch of stuff? Like, you're like, oh, I'll get to that later. And then you need to take the yarn out and put the yarn in your, leftovers pile, and the needles back in their containers, and the stitch markers back, and the, it's kind of a chore.
Unpacking,
I put it off until I've got a couple of them, and then I go about scavenging the stuff out of them.
I didn't get completely put away, but I got a few things put away. Like the leftover yarn made it into a bag that made it into the basement, which is close to where the leftovers live, but not where they live. So it was,
That's quite the tale.
Yep.
Did it sail or take a horse to that locale?
just rode down in my arms.
Oh, you carried it close to your heart. Swoon. Sorry. I'm a little bit goofy tonight. So what are you working on there?
I'm working on my diester shawl.
Okay. By Meltrend Designs. Dierst.
Yeah,
Diersta. We've gotten out of practice.
But I'm like,
or was that how you said it? And then I can't remember.
I don't know.
It's one of those things that you tell yourself that you said it wrong, but now I feel like I was saying it right, and we just told ourselves we're saying it.
Yeah.
I'm horrible with non-English. Just FYI. I'm horrible with English as well. Non-English, all bets are off. And that's out of?
So I think it's Diersta. Anyway, it's my hand spun, and I am enjoying knitting up and seeing it change as I get knitting on it. And I don't know. I'm really close to, like, right now I'm knitting to where I could start the last repeat, but I have enough yarn that I could probably do 2 more repeats before I start the last one. So I'm not sure.
Are you enjoying knitting with your hands spun?
I am. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Like I had that whole, like, I'm done doing shawls. Well, I apparently am still done doing shawls. And this is just a finishing. Like I want to get this finished.
I know somebody that's doing a KAL based on finishing things.
Oh, yeah.
Amy's like, what? Oh, wait.
That's us.
Yeah. And then I forgot to mention my FO is for the tanks, tops, and tees KAL in the Love and the Mommy Hood. So, sorry.
Okay.
That segued into me remembering something that I forgot to mention about mine.
But yeah.
Very pretty. Pretty.
I enjoy knitting with the hand spun, and again, like I said, I like seeing it all change.
Mm-hmm.
The colors and the striping, and it looks so pretty. But yeah, I don't know that any shawl pattern would be appealing to me right now. I mean, there are ones that I love and are on my queue, don't get me wrong, but it's just not me, not now kind of thing. Kind of like my socks. I have 2 pairs of socks that are sitting in there, and I have not touched them in months. It feels like at least 2 months, but maybe it's only been 6 weeks.
Well, yeah, the last time we saw your Desert Vista Dye Works, I think, was at the beginning of, or was it back in April? Because those are your April ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I worked the heel flap, but that's all the further I've been. I haven't turned the heel. Like, they've been sitting on heel flap for probably 6 weeks. Maybe it's more like 4, but
you have been
like
churning out some garments, though. I mean,
yes, I think that's where I am.
Yeah, my mind space is, I'm getting there, right? Like, this was a lace weight garment, which, again, I'm in that post-birth stage now where I'm like, never again with the lace weight garments. I love it, but and this pattern wasn't written for lace weight. I just knitted in lace weight, so I ended up with a lot more stitches than it normally would have been for my size. And again, fantastic, but yeah, took me a really long time. It felt like, especially since I was working on other things, and so yeah, I'm in I want to knit a garment mood. I'm with you.
Yep,
we are occupying a similar headspace.
Well, I'll like, it's like when you have specific yarns that just really want to turn into garments. So this is my gritting gargoyle.
That's been fantastic.
And it's dark, just like the folded sample in the. So I think.
Yeah, I thought my folded with the Midnight Rendezvous turned out really well. I mean, it's kind of not over. It kind of looks over dyed, right? It's a lighter color over dyed with darker overtones. Yeah, you got 3 of them. Look at you.
Yeah, I think that the pattern, like most people my size, got away with 2. So it might end up being that I have extra, but I'm afraid to just...
Is it long sleeve or is it?
I thought it was 3/4 or half.
Yeah, mine are half, and I know I ran into yardage issues with just my 2 of the midnight rendezvous.
Okay.
But I couldn't remember if I purposely did it.
Uh-huh.
Or if it was just how the pattern was written.
So, yeah, so I'm at the point where I'm like, oh, do I want to, like, you know, like, carry all 3 at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
To make sure that there is a good blending.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they're very hand dyed. You know, you're just like, oh, that's just different enough. And with my the Marigold Gem that I just finished, I noticed that my front panels are a lot different than my arms and my back. The arms and back have a pretty good match, but you get in natural sunlight and you look down the side, which doesn't happen very often. You can see there's a difference.
Because being in the natural sunlight? Are you a vampire? Or?
I just meant the side seam doesn't
like... You don't like air it. You don't like walk around and like, check out this side seam right here! Woo!
Yeah. Most of the time you're seeing straight on, and the arms and the...
Amy's like, people are looking at other parts of my body.
Not what I was suggesting, but when you have the sweater and you have the arm and this next to each other, there's not that hard line. There's the shadows, and so it's not enough different for you to see a difference when they're this far apart. But when you see where they're seamed together, it's like, those are 2 different colors. I'm pretty sure those are 2 different colors.
Yeah. It was last May that I knit that folded because it was for Mad May, and remember I got like up to here and there was a horrible knot. Like I had already changed.
Oh, that's right.
I had already changed colors. Yeah, I'd already changed skeins and had done the cheater blending, and then there was a horrible knot in the skein, and on one side was a totally different color of purple, and so I ended up having to rip the whole thing back so that I could alternate skeins the whole way. It was horrible. It was tragic. I remember being
I'm learning that I should probably knit all, unless I feel like my sleeves could be a completely different color, I should probably be alternating all of them all the way through. Mm-hmm. I might just alternate all of them.
So what is your stance? Here's my thought process. What is your stance on weaving in ends versus alternating skeins? So like you're talking about possibly alternating 3 skeins at once?
Mm-hmm. I know, yeah.
You could like split all of the balls and end up with like 6 of them and like do it in that way. Oh, you're seeing what I'm saying? So it would just be weaving in ends versus alternating so many skeins at one time.
That's a good idea. I don't know.
Just a thought. I don't know.
And I do have my handy dandy yarn buddy that would help me take off half. Mm-hmm. Those things work slick. If you've already balled a ball, you put it on your yarn buddy, and then you take the outside edge and you attach it to your yarn baller, and you and the whole thing beforehand is sitting on your scale, and you add it, and then you just go until it's half.
Yeah, that is. And
then you have 2 equal balls, and the thing whips off there so slick. I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like whatever you do in the spinning. I don't know any of the terminology, but don't you like take it off of one bobbin and put it on another, or no? Is there a name for that? Maybe I'm just thinking of like flying or something. I have no idea.
I'm not enough of a spinner in that regard either.
Okay.
I bought enough bobbins that I can just leave it on the bobbin, set it aside, and go to another one.
Yeah.
I don't have to take them off the bobbins until I'm plugged.
Do people that have like hand spinning have to do that? Like when the spindle gets, then you put it on a. I'm speaking about things that I cannot speak knowledgeably about, so I should just learn to be quiet, right? Right. Any other works in progress that you'd care to talk about or have me talk about on your?
Nope. We're good. You can talk about your little itty bitty sock.
Yep, I was going to bring out the shawl, which has gotten some love. It's kind of my should shawl. Like, I keep on saying, like, I should be working on something else, but the intricacy and the pattern is just, it keeps making me want to knit it. So I'm just going to, it got to be a bigger ball of wonderfulness, and this is in the Sun Valley Plum Crazy MCS. I hope Jeanette brings a bunch of MCS to the retreat.
Really big ball.
It is. It's two.
Okay.
It's two skeins that I combined into one, and it's kind of fun because I'm to the point now where I just tied. So like I wound one and then I ran out and I put the other one up on the Swift and I tied it. And so now I'm to the point where I'm like, ooh, is there going to be a knot?
Oh,
Ooh, is there going to be a knot? It's kind of exciting. It's like Buddy the elf in in Elf, right? Like do 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 do. Yeah. So maybe that's why I'm addicted to it.
that's a great scene.
Yes, it is. I think I could probably say that whole movie by heart because we watch it every single time it's on TV, and again, I'm looking at my TV. That's how literal I am. Every time it's on TV, and then we have it on DVD, and we watch it at Thanksgiving, and we watch it. It's a fan favorite. So there's that. And that is a pattern that will be released shortly before the retreat in June by Jenna Kapoor of Retro Lemon Studios that I'm test knitting for her. I cannot tell you the title because I do not believe she has shared it, but it has an earworm. So every single time I read it, I start singing a song.
Okay.
Because it's also a song title of a song that I love.
Okay.
So yes, and then I just cast on. This is how lazy I was. So I got out the big bag of 2013 yarn, the self-straping yarn for the KAL that I've identified, and I went, I won't have to ball that up.
Yeah.
So I just grabbed it, literally cast on the toe before we started so I'd have something to knit on air. And this is the Twisted Limone, which I caught an update of theirs. It is 75% superwash, 25% nylon. And it's in the Rainforest colorway and the tangy self-striping. TwistedLimoneDesigns.etsy.com. Cool. Yes, ma'am. And I don't know what I'm going to do. Whatever I'm going to do, it is going to be a toe-up sock, and it will have probably 32 stitches, and I'll go from there. Cool. Either make something of my own to go with my OMG heel, or follow another pattern that's already out there with my OMG heel, because I like it. It fits nicely for me. So that is that. Those are my works in progress. I know, right? You're like, normally you blather on and on because you have all of these works in progress, unlike you normally do, but no.
So now you're down to one.
Well, ish.
The
socks will constantly be on the needles.
I can see we have some enabling, so I'm going to just try to
jump on it.
Yeah. Jump on it.
Jump on it. Okay, you have some stuff. I have some of this. I have some 3 Irish Girls as well.
Dun, 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 jump on it. Jump on.
Not the pony. Jump on it.
Is that in Dodgeball?
Yes.
Because all of a sudden I'm just picturing Dodgeball.
Okay. Yeah, Ben Stiller, I think, does something into it. Yep.
Love it. Anyway, I went to the local yarn shop, which is carrying a lot of lovely 3 Irish Girls, and I got my favorite base at this moment from 3 Irish Girls. I got the Kells Sport Merino, and this one's called Stone's Throw, and it's just a lovely, lovely color. I just bought it for socks, but yeah, that could totally do a neat garment out of that one. Very lovely. And then something else. Yes, this is something else that I specifically asked for these colors. And then this one is Globe Trekker.
That is very pretty.
So awesome. And again, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I knew I needed at least 2 of these, and she does have more, so before she has to reorder, if I go in and I snag a couple more, they'll be from the same dye. So I'm like, ooh, have to think about it. And then she has some McQuillan DK, which is very lovely, but it didn't take the colors the way that it other things take because of all of the bamboo content.
That bamboo, it gives it some pretty sheen, but it doesn't, the colors aren't as vibrant.
Yeah, they're not as vibrant. So I was looking at them, and they have two colorways that look like they would go very beautifully together in a garment. So my brain has been ticking away at like a 2-color garment that would take DK. And I'll think about coming back because she started a rewards program.
This is at Hank and Pearl?
Yes. And so if I, probably after my next trip there, I'm going to have a 20% off my next purchase.
Fancy.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty.
So I'm thinking I might have to like plan a sweater just
See
for
what,
that 20% off.
Yeah. See what happens to me with something like that, where I've like had to earn it, then I start to hoard it. Then I go, oh, you're not 20% off worthy. You know, like, I had to earn that. Whereas if you just give it to me, I'll spend it right away, right? But like, if I had to earn that discount, well then I'll,
sit on it for a long time.
Sit on it. Like, it has to be worthy.
Well, that's why I'm planning the sweater. Oh, and then I got my Serenity Club colorway.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, sorry.
I
got it.
I know the gal who does the timestamps. So
okay, just after we recorded, like probably Thursday. So I feel like I'm not. I mean,
so
people have
yesterday's news
had a week to get up, but I won her haiku contest.
You wrote a haiku?
I did.
Please, on air.
No. It was about Jane. So I said something like, oh gosh, now on the air.
You knew I was gonna ask, right?
I forgot. So the actor that plays Jane. Brain.
He was on Ed. Not Ed.
Well, yeah, but that's part of my haiku is that it was like Jane or Casey. Yeah. Something about it doesn't matter to me.
I will ask her and I will put it in the show notes. Future Megan. Put it in there. Okay.
So it's just a little, but I didn't win because it's creativity. The random number generator just landed on it. So.
Wasn't that great of a haiku anyway.
Let's not. Well, and I felt like, oh no, because there were people who had put in like, multiple haikus. They had thought of lots of them, and I just put in my one, and the random number generator hit on me.
Look at you.
So this is called The Girl or the Weapon. And it's a very zombie-like up here with the bright green and splattery, and then the gray and white. It's pretty. And then I got all this, but because I won the haiku, I think I got extra stuff. So I don't think that this is what everybody got. I think that this was part of my extras. So I got a button that didn't make it into the bag. So a little button, and then I got this little lucky coins, and I got some chopsticks with little cases, and then I got these really cool stitch markers. So it's a little slidey lip gloss type case, and it's got a bunch of
pillbox type case.
Well, I got lip gloss in these when I was younger.
Okay.
Right? You slide them, and you'd go like this, and I don't know.
Okay.
Anybody else? I got lip gloss in these when I was younger. Anyway,
Max says he's never done that either.
So it's got a weapon in here. It says that it is the mystery markers. So I'm assuming that other people got different things inside their case. And then a bunch of the little purple. It's got purple wire, but the really tiny ones. That actually are the ones that I prefer when I'm using stitch markers.
Yeah, if they get too big, then you actually end up introducing like gaps in between your stitches, right? Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So, very cool. And that was another acquisition, and I only have one of those left, but I know it's going to be self-stripies. Because she said at least 2 were going to be self-stripies, and we got stripes at the beginning, and this one's a variegated, and so, or it doesn't have the, you know, extreme on there.
HXC.
Yep. So, there we go.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I brought my...
I'm looking over there because I'm like, there's something else over there.
I brought my hand spun. I washed it and I put it in Hanks.
Okay.
And I got 156 yards and 168 yards. And I hadn't said that the last time I showed it.
Okay.
So,
good to know.
that's all.
That is all she wrote.
And I feel like we're getting really, really long.
We are.
Go.
I got some Adorn sock in the Bryn colorway. I don't know what I'm going to knit with it, but it's for Camp Loopy, so it has to be 370 yards or 75 yards in a base a base and brand that I've never used. So I've never done the Adorn sock. It's really soft for being only, but having 20% nylon feels really soft to me.
Oh, I own some.
And springy. Love the Bryn colorway. Went out and looked at projects out on Ravelry that were pretty. I am in Mount Lupius is my camp that I will be hiking with. I went out there and I was like, I didn't get a pin. And bless her heart, Joanna Spring was like, I can send you mine. I was like, you don't have to, sweetie. I was just checking if it was omitted and I should have gotten one, but I guess they distributed until they ran out.
Oh, okay.
So I must have caught the tail end of the 20% off. It's 20% off, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. They have a week where you can order and you get 20% off, as long as it's being used for it meets the parameters of that project. So this is for project 1 that'll be in June, and I have yet to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I think I might do Kiki's new hat. Although I don't know if that'll use all 370. I'd have to look into it. And then I was just going to briefly mention.
Cheat and hold it double.
You can't.
Oh, because Kiki said
well, not Kiki, but
they said you can't hold it.
Yeah, you have to buy lace and hold it double if you wanted, and it had to be in a single skein, so you would have to get in a big thing of It was an interesting challenge. But I got my book in the mail and got the pattern, which is the Ivy Trellis hat, is the pattern that comes with the actual hard copy book. It's a beautiful book. I plan to sit down and have, this is the
Camp Loopy.
Yeah, the Lupius. And it has some fun stickers.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep these away from my kids. Cast on now, share with a friend. Buy yarn for. Very cute. Very cute. But yep, Botanical Knits. Fantastic. I actually have the book. Yippee! Alright, that's enabling. I made mine snappy. I just wanted to point that out for you.
Very snappy.
Okay, retreat news. We have lots of stuff going on.
Retreat.
The zombies are knitting retreat.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on, but I don't know that we have anything to communicate on air. I didn't overthink it, I guess. We had the deadline, so if you're in the yarn crawl and you signed up for the 5K, you should be getting emails / you have gotten emails. I think I'm going to wait to pretty close to the actual retreat to have people submit their 5K times. Just because it is a prediction and you'll know best right before what you think your time is going to be. We are no longer coordinating the hotel reservations and the group rate. So if we're going to have roommates soonly, which is my new word, soonly.
Yes.
It'll be happening soonly. And if you have to cancel, please let us know, because we'll have to find roommates.
I think the 3 Irish Girls is soaking into your head, because I read that on her blog a lot. Soonly.
Okay.
She says
maybe it just came with the yarn.
That could be.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah.
3 Irish Girls sitting here. But yes. So, day passes are still available, but the price has gone up. You no longer get the $10 discount for 3 days. The breakout sessions or outbreak sessions, the sign-ups have occurred. I've been doing my best to shepherd those threads, but just because you don't see it locked, don't just throw your name in there and think that you're going to be in, because like we had one spot open, I think in Bacon Fairy's double knitting, and I didn't get in there to close it down, and like 5 people put their names in. Which
Oh.
is, you know, if you're not counting or you don't understand why it's still open, I understand. But just make sure that you go back and review what you've signed up for before the actual class, because you may not have gotten in.
Right, and then you sometimes you have to read really carefully because some people are signing up for them and another person.
Yep. And or
within,
you know,
one thread.
The teacher is responding to a question, or I'm responding to a question, so you can't even just look at the
number. Yeah.
Yeah. So I might go through and like actually do a post myself and say this class is at this number. On all of them, but ultimately we're doing a good job of signing up, and I'm happy to see that some of them have filled up.
Yeah.
And there's still lots to be had, which is awesome. Anything else you wanted to share?
Yes, my mom has contacted me about the bags. She's busily sewing on them, but starting June 1st, that's kind of the deadline. And I say kind of the deadline because once June 1st rolls around, she's going to be upping the price from $27.50 to $35.
Okay.
And that's just because it's getting so close to retreat time. She needs to sew to sell at the market. And so she needs to sew her other types of bags and not these bags. And so she wants to accommodate you, and but she's going to just charge the, you know, if I can't sew all my other bags and sew your bag, then I don't know. It's kind of a trade-off. So they're going up to $35, which is still a very reasonable price, but you do have until June 1st, so it's not over yet. Plenty of time to get over there and buy your bag. Yeah, and we are looking into and have ordered our lovely extras that go with the bag, and I'm very excited about them. They're cool. And
in general, we're just swagging it up.
Yeah, in general, we have lots of things on the horizon, and we're very excited.
Very excited. But, you know, you'll have to show up in Rochester to find out about those.
Yes.
And I'm so excited that you're going to be showing up in Rochester.
And if you happen to be somebody who's not coming to the retreat and you're just watching these segments because we might say something and crack up
about skein size lengths and widths.
Yeah. The thing that I wanted to say is that planning is consuming a lot of time, and the play-at-home game, there's lots of ideas up here, but they might only make it to the threads. So we'll try to cross-link them wherever we can, but I wanted to make sure you know that it might not get mentioned here. It might just end up being in the threads all of a sudden, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? You know, how am I playing? And I just wanted to like preface that ahead of time. Again, the details are kind of, for the regular retreat, are kind of starting to come on a steady stream now, and it probably will be for the next 4 weeks. So we do have those ideas. They are coming through it, and we do have items that we could push that way, and we're very excited about it, but at the same time, it might only end up in a thread because we have some time on a off day that's not this day that we record to get that going and started, and it might just be an afterthought mention on the podcast.
Yep.
And that was long to do. So I'm good.
Let's just swing for a while.
Yeah.
Yep, I can't think of anything else. If you're a vendor, you should be seeing an email from me soonly about just some reminders and marketplace layout and fun stuff, you know, that makes it all seem really real.
Yes, exactly.
For realsies. Again, I'm saying for realsies. For realsies and soonly, and June is soon. Like Megan catchphrases.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.